I am Ifoma Ojinta, and do remember that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live or any of our social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. The multi-billion-dollar investment interest indicated by Indian investors in Nigeria has continued to elicit commendations by stakeholders in various sectors who believe the Nigerian economy is heading towards greater heights. State House correspondent Musbah Wahab reports from New Delhi.
Don't procrastinate. Don't be frightened about investments in Nigeria. Bring it on.
The chief marketing officer of his country kicked off the process, and his canvassers soon went on the drive.
This government, the president, but also the Minister of Finance, is extremely committed to ensuring that we digitalize government services in Nigeria.
We have opportunity with infrastructural deficit of about 3 trillion to bridge between now and the next 50 years. And that creates a huge opportunity for investors like yourselves to come in to tap into that opportunity.
Not only ready for business, the Nigerian government also shows its preparedness to create the enabling environments for the existing and upcoming businesses to thrive. And convinced by the sincerity of purpose demonstrated in the policy decisions of the current administration, the existing investors are ready to double up, and new ones are grabbing the opportunity.
There is Jindal Power and Steel, which committed $3 billion business. There's also Skipper, which deals with the power, it's a power company, Indorama, as well as Ashok Leyland. So this indicates that the Indians are now ready to do business with Nigeria because of the confidence they have in the new government.
Nigeria, we are lucky to have him at this critical time because he understood business, at the same time understood governance. That's why investment is coming all over.
On the other side, Nigerian investors attracted partners in their drives with special interest in oil and gas, solar energy, information technology, agriculture, and infrastructure developments.
Our company in Nigeria currently has over 140,000 customers with this Indian partner to connect people rurally, and then we rely on technology to collect revenues from the rural areas via mobile money.
They have achieved a lot in democratizing access to digital services. So we want to learn from them how have they achieved this, and also how can we transfer and build similar digital public infrastructure as well as digital capacity.
Mr. President believed rightly so. He wrote about it, he speaks about it, that Nigeria can and indeed will find hundreds of billions of dollars from the international investing and domestic investors so that we build the economy.
Doubling the existing trade volume of about $15 billion in Nigeria, key players project that the strategic partnership between Nigeria and India will continue to grow in a win-win situation. From New Delhi, Musbah Wahab, NT News.
Now we have our State House correspondent, Musbah Wahab, joining us from India. Now, Musbah, President Tinubu addressed investors at the Nigeria-India Presidential Roundtable at the G20 Leaders Summit. His major thrust was to woo investors. How were participants receptive to this call, and what should Nigerians expect?
The president has been acting indeed like the chief marketing officer of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Remember, this is the first official marketing drive for the president going out of the country to meet with investors. Ordinarily, he is a special guest in India for the G20 Leaders Summit, but he's taking this opportunity to see how he can improve the economy of a country, convincing investors. And remember, like we said earlier, Indian investors are the second largest employers of labor in Nigeria after governments. It means they are very strategic partners in the economy of the country. But apart from about $15 billion investment they already have in the country, that was recorded last year, 2022. Now we're receiving another interest going to another $15 billion of investment. You know what that means if that is added to the economy of a country. And remember, the president has always been clamoring for how to improve it, to re-engineer, if I might use this own word, to re-engineer the economy of a country. But now let me quickly bring in someone who is critical to this drive and is the High Commissioner of Nigeria to India, Ambassador Ahmed Suleiman, who has always been at the center of this event. Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, you started the process just last year, and you were able to take these investors to Nigeria last year. Now, how did you begin it, and what have they seen in Nigeria that they are showing this interest?
You see, when I arrived in India, I saw the opportunities available. I came with the idea of forming the Nigeria-India Business Council to be a platform of engagement between the Nigerian business community and the Indian business community. I'm glad and also thank Mr. President, His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for accepting to grace the occasion. He was there yesterday and he briefed them about the opportunities in Nigeria and the government determination and commitment to ensure that they get the best they can from Nigeria to be a win-win situation.
Okay. Well, what are we looking at now with this interest shown already to inject more billions of dollars in investment in Nigeria?
If you have seen yesterday, because of the confidence they have in President Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, we are able to gather about $14 billion pledge from the Indian business people. This indicates the confidence that they have in the new government of Nigeria. The president has assured them that he's ready to ensure that any bottlenecks they used to encounter hitherto will be removed, and will ensure that any incentives that they require in order to succeed in their business, he will help them so that they will be able to do business in Nigeria.
And we wish Nigeria will get the best out of it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, that was Ambassador Ahmed Suleiman, Nigerian High Commissioner to India. And just like he said, they commended President Bola Tinubu for policy decisions he has taken, making the environments more conducive for investors in Nigeria, and that is a lot of encouragement for the investors, and we hope to see how that benefit Nigeria in days to come.
Very much indeed, Musbawa, for bringing us up to speed with happenings in India. And back home, Nigerian professionals in the solid minerals sector will soon travel to Australia for more studies, thanks to a deal brokered by the Minister of Solid Minerals, Mr. Alake, in Perth, Australia, presenting a request to the Minister for Mines and Petroleum of the Government of Western Australia. Alake acknowledged the progress made by the government in mineral development. He proposed a program enabling Nigerian mining professionals to study modern mining technology and practice in Western Australia with the government's support. Accepting the proposal, Bill Johnston said the government of Western Australia will support the transfer of knowledge and skills to mining professionals from Nigeria and sponsor mining experts to visit Nigeria to impart knowledge.
And of course, if we are going to shift focus into this seemingly new area for us, then we need all the capacity building, training, knowledge, and the regulations governing that sector, so that we can maximize the mileage from that sector and achieve our economic objectives.
You know, if you were wanting to send officials to Australia, we'd be very pleased to work on an agenda to provide that capacity building. If you were looking for somebody from our agency to come to Nigeria for training, then you'd need to either talk to our national government about providing funds for, or perhaps an international development organisation.
Alake is leading the Nigerian delegation to the 21st Africa Down Under Mining Conference in Perth, Australia. Africa's first climate summit in Kenya has ended with the 2023 Nairobi Declaration, which intends to propel the African agenda and sets an action-oriented framework that would develop the renewable energy sector and increase funding for African countries. Charles Alpha reports that a $23 billion commitment has been made for green growth and mitigation efforts across Africa.
With the climate summit over, there is a new Africa on the horizon. Leaders can go home satisfied knowing that Africa can define its own destiny, a sustained future and global opportunities for renewable energy and biodiversity. The unification of their voices to push on agenda for climate justice and adaptation. This means they are ready to do more serious business, to represent people of the continent and the whole of humanity. The 3-day summit has come to an end, but not without a strong statement, and that is the 2023 Nairobi Declaration. The declaration points out Africa's position on climate change, climate solutions and financing, and how it intends to tackle the impact. It seeks to leverage on the South-South trade, investment and technological know-how to address the climate emergency. It calls on international community to help achieve that goal by easing the continent's crushing debt burden and reforming the global financial system to unblock investment.
The African Union will work out a roadmap for this declaration.
Green energy potential is going to define the future of global opportunity for unprecedented prosperity and a new paradigm of industrialization that respects the environment and supports our planet's capacity to sustain biodiversity.
$23 billion has been promised by both governments and European countries, United Arab Emirates, the EU, and the private sector.
Let us give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
As African leaders at the summit make their way out through the doors of the Kenyatta International Conference Center, Kenya, their minds will be fixed on results and implementation. By the time they return for another climate summit in 2026, will they be sharing testimonies of breakthroughs? Let's wait and see. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Recent interventions by the Renewed Hope Initiative targeting the empowerment of less privileged members of the society has continued to draw needed attention even beyond the shores of Nigeria, and with that recognition comes a wider frontier of collaboration with the pet project of Nigeria's First Lady. State House correspondent Adeni Itaiwo reports that courtesy of an unfolding partnership with African Union Development Agency, a new batch of 200 indigent students will soon benefit from scholarship at the African School of Economics.
A flair to organize and meet the needs of the society, starting from its smallest unit, the family. Women are naturally positioned to lead. So, when Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, received the Chief Executive Officer of Auda NEPAD, Grace Akobundu, in the villa, the discussion naturally veered towards how to make the world better with empowerment for development at the center. As shown by the National Scholarship Program, recently flagged off by our pet project, providing access to education is one of the passions of Nigeria's First Lady, a point she did not fail to tell our guests.
If you are not innovative enough, we say those are developed world, if you are not innovative enough, you end up jobless. So to have a school where entrepreneurship is being driven, I think it's really, really well thought out by the founder of Princeton University. And I want to say Nigeria needs this innovation at this time.
To sustain the tempo of women empowerment, which is one of the key objectives of AUDA NEPAD, partnership with relevant organizations such as the Renewed Hope Initiative is critical.
In this regard, African School of Economics has approached African Union Development Agency, NEPAD Nigeria, on their proposal to offer scholarship to 200 indigenous children in Nigeria, in line with the Renew Hope initiative of Her Excellency, which they captioned as Senator Remi Tinubu Scholarship Fund. The project is designed to provide equal opportunity of access to the highest global standards of tertiary education to young Nigerians.
Entrepreneurship is one of the skills on the table for beneficiaries of the scholarship offered by the African School of Economics in strategic partnership with Princeton University.
We will give these scholarships to the most deserving. So the brightest scholars across the country, but who cannot ordinarily afford this level of education. These are the sorts of youth that we're looking out for.
In collaboration with AUDA NEPAD Continental, AUDA NEPAD Nigeria is working closely with 22 states in the country to build the capacity of smallholder farmers to boost their productivity. This is another area that may see a new collaboration with the RHI. In the State House, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
The United Nations Children's Fund says Nigeria has lost more than $100 billion in about 13 years to armed conflict in the Northeast. This was brought to the fore at the Economic Cost of Conflict Presentation Report by UNICEF, Borno State government and development partners at the United Nations House in Abuja. Olajide Bello reports.
From sleeping with both eyes closed in the early 2000s, with basic amenities to enhance their livelihoods, the story took a different turn, with insurgency ravaging some states in the northeast and claiming territories in 2008. As security agencies continue to battle flashpoints of conflict and insecurity across the country, the 13-year-old insurgency in the northeast has caused the death of thousands of children under 5, mostly from disease and hunger. This gathering, therefore, is not to give speeches, but to do a critical assessment of the report on economic cost of conflict in the Northeast and ways its implementation by government at all levels and development partners can salvage the situation.
It is important that we maintain momentum in terms of the humanitarian response, but that also we shift gradually towards recovery and development work.
Policies need to be formulated and executed with an unwavering focus on children's rights, on education, health, and overall well-being.
Development plans can assist to expand on that so that we can increase the employment of children's task force, give them the necessary wherewithal to go into the rural areas to secure the places.
What truly resonates is permanent restoration of peace to the region, for there to be light at the end of the tunnel. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
It has become a general trend over time that as the year gradually grinds to a halt, accidents become the order of the day. Nigeria has recorded thousands of accidents, out of which a large percentage occurred during the months of September, October, November, and December, generally referred to as the Ember months and festive periods. Correspondent takes a look at the factors responsible for the high cases of accidents during Ember months and the need for motorists to take precautionary measures in reducing the occurrences.
The Ember months are usually referred to the calendar months of September to December. These are the days of the year during which a higher percentage of road traffic crashes are recorded due to the increased number of road users in the run-up to the festive season. This is as a result of increase in public, private, and corporate activities during the Ember months, as they organize various end-of-year events, making the roads busier.
There are too anxious during this time. Yeah, especially drivers. You know, somebody wants to make money that he has not made over the course of the year.
While ascribing the unfortunate trend of road mishaps to volume of movement, respondents also are of the opinion that there is need to take precautionary measures during the period to avoid accidents.
Make sure you follow the road safety instructions when you're driving, and be always careful with the people in front of you and the people at the back of you.
Ensuring that those we put our lives in their hands are in the right senses.
Giving them awareness, what they should do, what they shouldn't do.
As the curtain draws on the year, Nigerians are of the view that relevant government agencies must step up enlightenment campaigns as well as enforcement strategies to guarantee the Ember Month's related tragedies are reduced to the barest minimum. In Lagos, Hinginu, John Adams, NTA News.
We now join Amaka Owo in Lagos, who will give us an update on the recent spate of road accidents and the dangers they portend to human safety. Amaka, give us your updates.
Okay, thank you, Ifoma. So I'm right here along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, and it's a very busy road to and from Lagos. And data from the Federal Road Safety Corps shows that about 50,000 vehicles ply this road daily, and we expect an increase during the Ember Month. And speaking about the Ember Month, we know it's a period of the last quarter, 4 months of the year. We're right now in September, and we expect to see usually an increase in commercial activities, buying and selling. It's also a time for some who believe that they must make profit at all costs, and this also speaks to the rise in some criminal activities, and we also see the increase in movement of people. But we're not going to dwell on that. We're going to beam our searchlight on the movement of people. We see an increase in interstate and intrastate travels. We also see a lot of people from the diaspora coming into the country. This is also the period of increase in festivities, and therefore we see an increase in vehicular movement, that we experience some kind of density on the roads. And with that, it's not just stating that, we have facts to buttress that. Data from the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics and also verified by the Federal Road Safety Corps shows that in Quarter 3 of 2021, we experienced about 3,134 road crashes, and in Quarter 4 of 2021, there was a spike in road crashes, which rose to 3,407. That's an 8.71 increase in road crashes. And so I have with me some drivers who also ply this route. So I want to ask them what are also the major causes, because most times they have first-hand experience of some of these road mishaps. So, Mr. Jimo, come closer. So, what can you say are major causes of road crashes?
Overspeeding is caused the accident. So, and then smoking, drinking is caused accident. Always, every time. So, and the driver. So, and they to make money for owner. Running is too much. So that's why.
Okay, thank you. I also have Mr. Afiz. Mr. Afiz, come closer, come closer. So, you're also a driver who plies this route. Can you state other causes of road crashes?
Something will happen for this area. Some they may sleep, some they may talk, so that accident will happen. Some people will look back, talk to passenger, like Okada people say, then they cause accident for this road.
Thank you very much. Oh, they've stated the obvious, and this speaks to the need for more precautionary and safety measures to be put in place. So I have with me the head of operations, Federal Road Safety Corps, Mr. Lucas Oguntade. Thank you very much. We know that you are at the forefront of ensuring safety on our roads. So you started with a mandate. Can you tell us what you're going to do differently, since it's an annual event you do to sensitize drivers during the Ember months? Thank you.
Thank you so much. The Ember months are the last 4 months of the year.
that is characterized by evil occurrences such as road traffic crashes, upsurge in the cases of road traffic crashes. We are prepared, FRSC, Lagos State, as usual. We have started our sensitization programs. In fact, we started a program we call Free Safety Check today. That is in readiness for the Ember month. This is a period we started today. It will last for about 5 days. A period where we observed every vehicle. We inspect vehicles. That is free, without booking, without anything being attached to it. It is a period to inspect vehicle. Any defect or fault that is identified or observed in a vehicle, you document it and give to the owner of the vehicle, such that it will go and take appropriate measures for repairs. That is in preparation for the months ahead. Beyond that, we are taking our enlightenments to all the parks and garages. By the grace of God, very soon we are flagging off the Ember Month Safety Campaign. We are doing everything possible to collaborate with sister agencies. Beyond that, we go to churches and public places because we know we cannot meet everybody at the parks. And as such, we go to religious places, mosques, churches, and public offices. Every public office where we believe we can meet a lot of people, a lot of drivers, and sensitize them. So, by the grace of God, the commercial has injected a lot of logistics, patrol vehicles into our operations. Then we have new.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. You've stated the obvious. Thank you very much. And so we've heard that the campaign continues, the continuum. And so now I'll hand you over to my colleague, Hingino John Adams, in our Lagos studios for the continuation of Nationwide. Thank you.
Thank you, Amaka. Nigerians have continued to react to the verdict of the Presidential Electoral Petition Court, which affirmed President Bola Tinubu's victory during the February 25 election. Dean Leneke reports that Nigerians viewed the victory as vital to the sustenance of democracy, in which the judiciary will continue to play a crucial role in solidifying.
The long wait for the verdict of the Presidential Election Petition Court is finally over, with the affirmation of President Bola Tinubu as the winner of the 2023 presidential election. The verdict, however, attracted reactions as respondents lauded the judiciary for upholding constitutional democracy.
All the issues from the petitioners' averments to the respondents' reply, to the witnesses called, to the documents tendered were all evaluated, and in my honest opinion, they came to a fair finding.
In solidarity with the #1 citizen in the country, who happened to lay the foundation upon which the APC in Lagos continues to dominate, members of the party were glued to the telecast all day long in anticipation of the result.
Pre-election matter. You can't move pre-election matters after the election has been conducted. These are issues that has been well addressed. I can say this is the first time this type of judgment will be delivered in the election matters in this country.
Beyond the judgment, some Nigerians say it is time for reconciliation by bringing everyone on board to deliver the dividends of democracy.
The Labour Party and PDP and APM and all other party opposition in Nigeria should look at it as it's a country that we all must work for to succeed.
The court dismissed all 3 consolidated petitions for lack of merit. Nigerians are hopeful that the President Bola Tinubu-led administration will deliver good governance, ensure political and socio-economic stability of the nation. In Lagos, Lynn Leneke, NTA News.
The administration of President Bola Tinubu has attained 100 days in office with critical reforms and other bold initiatives that have reshaped the nation's economic landscape among issues in the front burner. Joel Popola reports that stakeholders unanimously agreed that President Tinubu came prepared to fulfill campaign promises.
It has been an unprecedented series of non-stop activities at the highest level of government since May 29, when President Bola Tinubu assumed office. The president immediately demonstrated his determination to take bold decisions with the removal of fuel subsidy, This proactive step, many observers believe, saved the nation from plunging into financial crisis with the unsustainability of fuel subsidy.
The Bola Ahmed Tinubu's presidency has been charting a strategic roadmap for economic revival and regeneration.
The ministers, they have started, they are manning their respective ministries now. So we want to see effect, we want to see results. For example, we want the president to take pragmatic steps in repairing refineries that we have in this country.
The creation of new ministries and remodification of some others, stakeholders believe, is an indication that the current administration is thinking outside the box.
Nigerians expect a lot from this ministry. We must not fail them. We must increase our contributions to the country's GDP.
It's beginning of focus so that we can harness the potential of this creative sector. Nigeria is hugely talented and the potential is big.
The administration in the last 100 days, according to respondents, has also demonstrated that it is humane with the rollout of palliatives to mitigate the impact of the subsidy removal.
Palliatives, since you said you've seen people get, I'm glad for them that they got. My prayer is that it to be sustained.
They should do in such a way that when you are showing a palliative, it should get to everybody.
While respondents are on the same page that there is still much to be done, they enjoin the president to ensure the dividends of democracy trickles down to the grassroots through proper monitoring of the disbursement. In Lagos, Joel Ukbola, NTA News.
Be reminded that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. We pause here for some messages. Nationwide continues in our Kaduna Network Center after this break.
Our commitment is to promote the greatest good for the greatest number of our people. On principle, we shall never falter. We will get out of this turbulence. And due to the measures we have taken, Nigeria will be better equipped and able to take advantage of the future that awaits her.
History is history, so either you know it or you don't.
My advice to the younger generation is that they should learn from what we have started and what we have left.
I did things that ordinarily I should not have been doing. What that meant was that I was working hard.
Whatever assignment you are given in life, put in your best.
The military years were a disaster.
Smoldering effects of all that is what we are trying to cure.
NTA Television College JAWS is calling on candidates who obtained a minimum score of 100 in the 2023-2024 JAMB Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination UTME and are interested in our 2-year National Innovation Diploma NID program to select the college as their first choice institution. Such candidates must have a minimum of 5 O-level credits in relevant subjects and they are expected to apply for any of the following courses: Film and Television Production, Broadcast Journalism and Television Engineering Technology. We also call on UTME candidates who obtained a minimum score of 180 to select NTA Television College as their first choice and apply for our Bachelor of Science degree program in Mass Communication. These candidates must have a minimum of 5 O-level credits in relevant art subjects, including English language and mathematics. Direct entry candidates are also required to select the institution as their first choice before they can gain admission into the college. For more inquiries, please visit NTA Television College near Old Government House, Rayfield, JAWS, or call any of the following numbers: 0806-980-9807 and 0803-079-5335. You can also visit our website at ntatvc.edu.ng. Registrar, Announcer.
Welcome to Kaduna Network Center. Kano State government has rolled out palliatives as part of efforts to cushion the effects of petroleum subsidy removal on the citizens of the state, especially the less privileged. Amin Omar reports that each of the wards in the state is to receive more than 500 bags of greens. The report.
Maimuna is one of the 160,000 beneficiaries of the palliatives rolled out by Kano State government. A mother of 6, although a housewife, she says the situation is so difficult for her husband to take care of her and the children.
Alhamdulillah. Thanks be to God. I least expect it, but I have gotten it.
Apart from this, a more sustainable one comes as Kano State government has pulled some interventions together aimed at inducing massive agricultural production that will create jobs and economic revitalization. To achieve this, Kano State government is giving out farm input to farming clusters and livestock to more than 2,000 women, among others.
It is therefore our hope that in the not too distant future, such interventions will start a remarkable agricultural revolution that will make our state less dependent on federal allocation.
To ensure all the materials get to the target beneficiaries like Maimuna, Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf announced the formation of compliance committee in both the state and local government as well as in ward levels. Amin Umar, NTA News.
50 women in Jigawa State have undergone a 2-day intensive theoretical and practical training in post-harvest handling storage technique under the auspices of Federal Ministry of Agriculture Value Chain Development Process for Food Security. Drawn from the 27 local government areas of Jigawa State, the women were given blenders, certificates, and 10,000 naira transport fare. Shehu Muhammad Datti has more.
Have every reason to smile and be happy for getting a lifeline through the Federal Ministry of Agriculture Value Chain Development Process. For 2 days, they were subjected to intensive training by the Federal College of Agricultural Produce Technology, Kano, to enable them be self-reliant and potential employers of labor in post-harvest handling storage techniques.
I assure by God's grace, inshallah, I'll step down all what I learned from here to my colleagues, inshallah.
So, with grace of God, inshallah, I will make a step-down training in my local government so that others will benefit.
It is the third of its kind in Jigawa, as women in Hadeja and Tora had similar opportunity of learning rice and potatoes storage techniques.
There are other plans. we are going to bring to Jigawa and the entire Northwest. We wanted to ensure that we complement the effort of the present administration under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as well as the governor of Jigawa State, in trying to move agriculture forward in the state. So we continue to give our own effort. There are a lot of initiatives we have.
Women issues is always in his mind, whenever you go with developmental issues that concern women, he's always in support of it. So we appreciate him for that trust he has on us, and we pray that the government will continue to be better than any government in Nigeria.
This is part of the mandate of the Federal College of Agricultural Produce Technology, Kano, especially in the area of vegetables preservation and processing across the nation. In Duse, Shehu Muhammad Datti, NTA News.
From here, it's back to Ifoma in Abuja.
Thank you very much, Amina. We now turn our attention to judicial matters. The Presidential Election Petition Court sitting in Abuja has affirmed the declaration and return of Bola Tinubu as the duly elected president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The 5-man panel of justices led by Justice Haruna Simon Samani gave the verdict in a unanimous decision of the court on the 3 consolidated petitions. Dele Atumbi reports that the court dismissed all the 3 consolidated petitions for lacking in merits. The petitions dismissed are that of the Allied People's Movement, Peter Obi and Labour Party, and that of Atiku Abubakar with the PDP. The 5-man panel of justices affirmed the equality of votes cast in all parts of the country.
Conduct of the 2023 presidential election on the 25th February, where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was declared and retained as president. 5 political parties and their candidates filed petitions before the Presidential Election Petition Court sitting in Abuja. The petitioners at the initial stage were Action People's Party, Action Alliance, Allied People's Movement, Atiku Abubakar, PDP, as well as Peter Obi and Labour Party. During the pre-hearing section, Action People's Party and Action Alliance withdrew their petitions. The 3 remaining petitions were consolidated by the order of the court in line with paragraph 50 of the first schedule of the Electoral Act 2022. In the petition filed by Atiku Abubakar and PDP, the petitioners called 27 witnesses and tendered several documents. In its verdict, the Presidential Election Petition Court resolved all the 4 issues in the petition against the petitioners. In a well-considered verdict, the court dismissed all the 3 consolidated petitions for lacking in merit.
Today is a great day for Nigeria. The Nigerian judiciary had proved itself to be the guardians for justice and fairness against the sirens of deception. It's a battle between the will of the people and the forces of misinformation and disinformation. But democracy has finally triumphed.
Counsel to Atiku Abubakar and that of Peter Obi react.
The judgment has been delivered, but we have not received justice. Luckily, the Constitution has given us the right to go on appeal. This is a court of first instance, to go on appeal to the Supreme Court.
Our clients are dissatisfied with the judgment, and they have given us instruction to go on appeal.
The petitioners filed their petitions on 21st March 2023. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
In the meantime, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has assured Nigerians of his renewed and energized focus on delivering his vision of a unified, peaceful, and prosperous nation following the judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Court in Abuja. In a statement by his Special Advisor, Media and Publicity, Anjuri Ngelale, President Tinubu applauded the diligence, thoroughness, and professionalism of the 5-member bench in interpreting the law. He affirms that the judgment reflects the continuing maturity of Nigeria's legal system and the advancement of Africa's largest democracy. Meanwhile, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has lauded the judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Court, which affirmed the victory of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima in the 2023 presidential election. Akpabio describes the court's verdict as an affirmation of the popular mandate of the Nigerian people for the Tinubu-Shettima ticket of the All Progressives Congress APC as delivered at the polls in February. Similarly, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, has also congratulated President Tinubu and Vice President Shettima on the resounding affirmation of their popular mandates by the well-thought-out judgment of the court. In a statement, the Speaker noted that the 5-member panel painstakingly evaluated all the issues raised by the petitioners and delivered a clear verdict on the integrity of Nigeria's electoral process. He urged Nigerians to continue to support the Tinubu government in its drive to deliver the renewed hope agenda of the ruling Progressives Congress. Former President Muhammadu Buhari has also expressed happiness with the ruling of the Presidential Elections Petition Court, confirming the victory of the All Progressives Congress and its candidate, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his running mate, Vice President Kashim Shettima, in the February 25th election. The former president said the PEPC has written history by spawning intimidation and prejudice to deliver justice according to law for the majority of citizens whose wish is that the choices they made are respected. Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello has also congratulated President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima on their victory at the Presidential Election Petition Court. In a statement, Governor Bello says the triumph stands as a testament to the resilience of Nigeria's democratic institutions and reaffirms that our courts remain the hope of the common man. He states that the judgment delivered by the tribunal is a significant milestone as it upheld the will of the people. Meanwhile, National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, has commended the Presidential Election Petition Court for validating the victory of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu during the February 25th, 2023 presidential election. In a statement, the National Chairman described the judgment as thorough, having addressed all the issues raised by the petitioners. Ganduje urged the PDP and Labour Party to cooperate with the present administration in its effort to address the challenges facing the country. Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party says it has reviewed the judgment delivered by the Presidential Election Petition Court and unequivocally rejected it in its entirety. The party's National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologun Agba, in a statement said the judgment is against facts and evidence presented in court, against the relevant electoral laws and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. It emphasized that the judgment is generous in technicalities and very short in delivering substantial justice in the matter. And the PDP, as a law-abiding political party, will decide on the next line of action within the ambit of the law. It's called on Nigerians to remain calm and united as the party continues to lead the charge to defend democracy. And now joining me live in the studio to speak on the outcome of the Presidential Election Petition Court's judgment is Dr. Ogaga Ifowodo. Dr. Ifowodo is a legal practitioner, author, and member of the APC Presidential Election Campaign Council. Welcome to Nationwide, sir.
I'm glad to be here.
Now, what is your assessment of the court's ruling of yesterday on the 3 consolidated petitions before it?
First thing, I have to commend the justices of the Court of Appeal for the painstaking thoroughness with which they dealt with all the issues that were raised. The whole nation, and I think the whole world, witnessed how they sat at around roughly 10:30 a.m. and were there till nightfall. And they gave consideration to every issue raised. Preliminary objections as to the qualification of President Tinubu and Vice President Shettima to even run in the first place. Also, questions of allegations of whether or not he had been convicted as a President Bola Tinubu, and that is a disqualifying factor, and on and on. So they dealt with all of those preliminary issues, then they started taking the cases in substance, one after the other. And even though they had dismissed the petitions for lacking in merit, they still gave reasons, substantiated every decision they took, gave the reasons, for their decision. So I think we have to commend them. But beyond that, I think it's a kind of stress test of our fledgling democracy. And I agree with those who think that this is proof that our democracy is taking roots and that it's maturing, and we have to do everything to keep it that way. But what I would like those who are still saying they are thoroughly disappointed in it, what I would like them to do is to actually be objective, because there's a difference between a court of law and what you call just public discourse. The conversations we have in beer parlors, at dining tables, or while we're in the office with our colleagues. The court of law does justice according to the facts and the evidence before it. So I think that is where the focus should be. Did they do justice? I believe they did justice. I believe right from the beginning that these petitions lacked merit.
Okay, now, although there has been diverse reactions from members of the public, but in your estimation, did the juries do substantial justice to the matter before them? You just mentioned that they did, but people have diverse opinion. What was your take on people's reaction?
Okay, absolutely. I think they did wonderfully. Now, let's take, for instance, one that is easy to discuss, FCT, that a candidate must score 25% of the votes in FCT in order, to be president. I wrote an article as far back in March when the running mate of Peter Obi, Dati Ahmed, went on TV and said that if Bola Tinubu and his running mate are sworn in, that would be as good as killing democracy in Nigeria. And one of the arguments he raised was the question of 25% in the Federal Capital Territory. But it would clearly be an absurdity. An absurdity to say, for instance, that a candidate has won 100%, for the sake of argument, 100% of all the votes in all the 36 states, but got 24% in FCT and cannot be president. So the question would be, how is that in any way a reasonable interpretation of a living document such as the Constitution?
All right, thank you so very much, Dr. Ogaga Ifowodo. It's been a pleasure having you on Nationwide. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, the Bureau of Public Service Reforms has released the assessment of federal government performance of ministries, departments, and agencies for 2022. Releasing the assessment, Director General of the Bureau, Ibrahim Arabi Dasuki, says the exercise is aimed at assessing the strengths and weaknesses of all MDAs in their operations, process, and systems with the aim of optimal performance. He disclosed that after the end of the 2022 self- and validation assessment, the National Lottery Trust Fund emerged the best-performing federal government agency with 75.24%. The fund was able to operate a current strategic plan with high-level output aligned to approved budgets, financial management systems, and procedures that comply with the relevant government accounting policies and standards.
Successfully implemented 100%. As an engine room of reforms, we are willing to continue to work with you to sustain the recorded achievements, support areas where work is in progress, and chart a course for improvement where performance is weak.
We are indeed achieving this significant milestone for the good of this nation. So I would like to congratulate you on the job that you do always to ensure that we remain afloat, we remain on our toes to continue to discharge our responsibilities as required by our enabling legislation.
Well-established human resources management policy with objective criteria for recruitment, career development, promotion, remuneration, rewards, and recognition, assignment of managerial functions, as well as routine monitoring of policies were some of the criteria used in the assessments. We now join our Makurdi Network Center for more on Nationwide.
And thanks for joining us in Makurdi. Participants in the regular course 5 of the Nigerian Police Academy in Kano have been urged to make professionalism their guiding principle in the discharge of their duties. Governor Hyacinth Alia said this when he received the participants at the Government House, Makurdi. Elias Itiav reports.
These Assistant Superintendents of Police are participants of the Police Regular Course 5 from Benue State, currently undergoing different courses in various disciplines at the Nigerian Police Academy, Kano. While receiving the officers, Governor Hyacinth Alia, represented by the Deputy Governor Sam Ode, tasked them to ensure professionalism in their dealings with members of the public. He acknowledged that the state is known for excellence and they must do everything possible to live up to that standard.
View yourselves as ambassadors of this great state. Benue is known for excellence in whatever sector or career you see the Benue man. What you see is excellence. We have also had very senior police officers who have served in the Nigerian police and retired with merits and with medals. August is the beginning of another chapter of your life. What you do in the course of your career will determine how far you can go.
Leader of the group, Dominic Faga, explained that they are part of the 5 states studying different courses at the academy.
And we are pleased to inform you that as it stands, we have about 95 cadet officers presenting at their state at the academy currently. These cadet officers got across all the 23 local government areas of Benue State.
The team comprises officers undergoing academic training in degree awarding institutions. In Makurdi, Elias, ATF, NT News.
And that's it from Makurdi. It's back to Ifoma in Abuja.
Thank you very much. President Bola Tinubu extends his warm felicitations to the former CEO of Cadbury Nigeria, Mr. Bumi Oni, on the occasion of his 70th birthday. In a statement, the president joins family, friends, colleagues, and associates of the celebrants in thanking God Almighty for preserving this distinguished figure who continues to make an indelible mark on the corporate landscape of Nigeria and society at large. President Bola Tinubu has expressed his deep condolences to his special assistant on social media, Olusegun Dada, on the passing of his mother, Mrs. Ifejola Esther Dada, into glory. In a statement by his special advisor, media, the president joins the friends and well-wishers of the Dada family in mourning the irreparable loss of their beloved wife and mother, who was an outstanding educator and devoted years of her professional life to providing quality and affordable education for the least privileged members of the society. And President Bola Tinubu sends his condolences and sympathy to the family, followers and associates of the prominent Islamic preacher Sheikh Abubakar Giro Argungu following his demise. In a statement by his special advisor, Media and Publicity, Anjorin Galali, President Tinubu described the death of the religious leader as a loss which reverberates beyond the late preacher's immediate community and as one that affects the entire country in view of his contributions to the Islamic study and his renowned call for moral rectitude. He prayed Allah to grant the late Sheikh Al-Jannah Firdaus. And as it's on Nationwide today, we thank you for being part of it. Bye for now. I am Ifoma Ojenta.